Hello and welcome. What you see here in my hand today is a small box of incense stick. And why am I holding this one? Because this will be the first example of today's topic. Going further on today's topic, let me talk about this box. Now, if you see this box, this is an incense stick, as you see. And the good thing to note about this is when you burn it, we have a very good smell. Everybody likes it. Everybody say, "Oh, wow, that what a smell!" But after it burns, the residue or the ashes, those are difficult to clear because those are menace. Nobody wants to clear that. And today's topic is about the 10th of this month, September 2021. We will witness things on this carrier, on the Indian national carrier. So it's quite important today. We'll see that. And why was I talking about this one? It will be reflected later when we talk on. So Maharaja is on sale. It's really, awful. It's really, bad to hear this Maharaja is on sale, but that's the truth. And we all have to accept it by now. What discussion will revolve around how the process is going on, what are the facts about this, and what are the outcomes. What are we going to see from this Air India sale? To start with, to go back, how this Air India started. It's almost 7 decades. It's almost 7 decades. Started by J.R.D. Tata and later acquired by the government of India, who thought that this carrier can be better managed by us and let this carrier be a nationalized one. How much government has succeeded in this, only critics will say. I'm here to discuss about that. But Air India was not the same company what you see today. It had its golden era, it had its good days, which are now left behind. What today we are standing on is a declared loss of 60,000 crore and an unconfirmed debt of more than 75,000 crores. Government says the debt is around 60,000 crore. This was quoted by the previous civil aviation minister. But there are unconfirmed sources. They say it can go beyond 75,000 to 80,000 crores. Now government wants to sell it because they see this carrier is a loss-making carrier and government is not able to manage it efficiently like the competitors are doing. Who are the competitors? There are competitors in this business. If you see the low-cost carrier Indigo, they were reasonably doing well before the pandemic started. Of course, the pandemic has pulled back the strings, but it's for all. It's not only Indigo, it's for all. SpiceJet was also in the same path. Pandemic pulled it. They are also, you know, in the path of survival. Air Asia India, Go Airlines, or now Go First, the airline. So these major carriers, as government sees, they are able to manage it better, and government is not. That's why they want to sell, so that when a private owner comes up, they can manage it in a better way. So this selling process was not today, like not the 15th of September 2021. 3 years back also they tried once in 2018. They said they want to sell it. But the irony was there were no bidders. It couldn't attract a bidder because the clauses they had put in, or the conditions they had kept in at that time, were non-attractive. In 2018, they wanted to sell a part of the equity. 76% they wanted to sell, rest of the percentage they wanted to reserve for themselves. Now, why would any private player want a government player to keep a stake? This was unattractive. And to add to that, government wanted to, keep one of its nominated directors in the board of Air India. I mean, the privatized board of Air India. These were the conditions. What was other condition? Other condition was the amount of loss will be shared by the bidder or the owner or the private owner who is going to buy. He has to share the debts of this Air India. So these conditions, like selling 76%, keeping a board member, government appointed board member, then sharing of the debt, these all were unattractive for the company who was going to bid. Forget about international players. Even national players, they had these reservations. Talking about Tata Group or the Mr. Ratan Tata's leadership, who is interested in this bidding process or company, they had their reservations. In many other companies, they started the process to show some kind of interest, but they all got discouraged in the path. Now Tata Group, they have, by now they had sent or they have released the letter of interest, that is LOI, to go for a bidding on this Air India sale. Who will be successful after this bidding? Nobody knows, because there is one more bidder, Mr. Ajay Singh, who is the promoter of SpiceJet Group. But he is doing this bidding not on behalf of SpiceJet. He is doing this bidding on his personal capacity. And what I understood is, for this purpose, he has made a special arrangement of more than $1 billion. They have made special arrangement of more than $1 billion for this bidding process. They have reserved it. Now, bidding will happen, Air India will Air India will be sold. Eventually, it will be sold. Somebody will take it. What if it couldn't? The initial plan or initial intention of uh, government was either close it or sell it to somebody. Closing is a painful process. Selling was not easy. Bidders were scarce. So, amid all these things, what was the scenario? What are the financial constraints, or what are the financial pointers where bidders were getting stuck? Now, government wanted to make the process easy for the bidders, or I mean, you can say to sweeten the deal or make it attractive. What did they do? They made in 2018 itself, they made a special purpose vehicle, AIAHL, where it will be, the name is Air India Assets Holding Limited. This special purpose vehicle will absorb the debts and some other assets which are to be dealt by government. They will be a separate entity or separate special purpose vehicle which will make the deal possible by absorbing some amount of debts and some of the assets, so that the bidders will find it attractive. So what did they do in this process? Out of this 60,000 crore losses, they transferred some amount. They will not go on exact figures, but they transferred some amount. It's around 22,000 crores. They transferred it, and they made the amount small. Those are the portions of debt that is already now parked for the AIAHL. Now this amount, the remaining amount, will be the total debt that is to be negotiated now. Now, if you see, that amount has come to a total of excess of around 44,000 crores. Now, this debt, 44,000 crores, the bidder or the one who wants to buy the Air India will see it against the worth. And what is the worth as per the government notifications? It's around 45,800 crores, or to be specific, 45,863 crores. Now see, and they are very close. Why would a company or a person or a bidder take the burden of debts and buy the company? So now from here, as of now, or in the current scenario, the government has changed the rules of the play. Government now wants to sell the 100% equity. It wants to go for a 100% sale. No more keeping the stake with the government. This is one of the steps which the bidders might find it attractive. What is the second? They are not putting any pressure of the debt absorbing. That means, suppose this 45,000 crore of debt is there, they are saying you don't need to be worried about that. That part will be taken care of by the government, or any claims by third parties or any companies like Cairns, the company which is in a spat with Air India. These kind of things are free of this deal. Only you take the Air India with the price you are quoting. That's the deal. This might attract people, and this we might see something today, like which is happening today on 15th of September. So if this happens, what government expects, though they are not giving any details to anybody, what we can expect, the amount generated from the deal that will be used for the debt payment, and if anything is left, that will be parked in AIAHL. That is the idea. So that there they have to rework with the existing debts or existing asset transactions there. So this is happening. This is the scenario now. 2018, there was a problem because the government wanted to keep a stake, government wanted to put a board member, government wanted the bidder to share the debts, but now, no, none of this exists. No more stake by government, no more board members. Of course, there is no stakes, no board members in the new owners company, and also no debt sharing. That choice has been given. So government is saying only you bid the amount and you can pay some 15% of the bidding amount in cash, and rest of the amount can be negotiated with the debt. But that is also government saying that the bidder need not be worried, or bidder is not bound by this clause. So they are making it further attractive for the bidder to take an interest. So it looks quite good. Here the bidder, you saw this figure, these are figures, right? These are constant. They are definitive that okay, this amount is there. But here one thing the bidder has to ensure, what is he getting? The asset Air India, the declared worth or value of 45,863 crores. This value, how would the bidder evaluate or ensure? Why am I saying this? Now, Air India has a fleet of 120 aircrafts, approximately I'm saying, maybe 4-5 here and there, but 120. Now this 120 aircrafts, the value, how many are owned by Air India, how many are leased from a lessor? This due diligence has to be ensured or done by the bidder. I hope they have done some homework, but I don't know if they have done it correctly to get the values. That is one thing. 120 aircrafts. What else it might have? Engines. Engines are also assets. The engines, those get fitted to the aircraft. Not all the engines are on the wing all the time. There are additional engines, extra engines, or engines which are bought by Air India can be treated as assets. But here in this condition, the due diligence here or the valuation or the assets inventory has to be done by the bidder. If they have done, it's a smart move. If they have not, they better do it before all the deal is closed. What else they are getting? The properties, assets, immovable assets of Air India. If you see the deal, in the deal, Air India wants to sell the Air India, its subsidiary Air India Express, and 50% of the ground handling company. Air India has a ground handling company. So this ground handling company, AI SATS, that is also to be divested by 50%. Now, in these three company or in these three listed companies, additional is the real estate, additional is the facilities, additional is the offices. But here also there is a catch which the Air India has to ensure. The bidder has to ensure. Out of these properties, how many are Air India owned? Take the case of Air India colonies in Kalina, Santa Cruz. If you see, those properties are not necessarily owned by Air India. There are chances that these properties belong to Airport Authority of India, which were leased to the Air India. So if that is the case, the current operator of Chhatrapati Shivaji International Airport, the Adani Group, they will get the rights of that Air India colony properties, which is around 180 or 184 acres of land. So these all things will take a play, like which properties they can get, which properties they cannot access, or which properties are purely Air India's. These all things will play a role. But out of this discussion or facts which we did, we will see some strange things that will be happening after the divestment completes or after the takeover completes. After the takeover completes, if we talk about Tata Group, if Tata Group becomes the successful bidder, what will happen? Tata Group has already, companies where it has major stakes like AirAsia India, the Vistara. These companies are already with Tata Group. Now this will be another addition to the company under Tata Group, or they might form a holding for these companies. Vistara, of course, there is a Singapore Airlines angle to that, but AirAsia might be easy. When Tony Fernandes might let it go easily, or he is already in the process to do that, it will be easy for Tata Group. But arranging or managing this Air India and its routes will be a difficult matter for Tata for some time. They have to really work hard on this. Being said so, we here have to understand that 120 aircrafts are being managed by an employee strength that is approaching 30,000 persons. 30,000 employees are managing 120 aircrafts. 30,000, I believe in this 30,000, there are many contracted employees which are not under direct government employees scheme or employment, including all. So these 30,000 employees, if you see, they are handling 120 aircrafts. So the ratio is quite high. It's more than 250. The ratio in aviation, we have a ratio, employee aircraft ratio. So if you see that ratio, per aircraft, more than 250 employees, which is quite high for the aviation to sustain. And Tata Group or Mr. Ajay Singh, if he wins the bid, they will definitely look into this area, which will be quite, disheartening for the current employees, which will bring lots of concern for the current employees of Air India. What will happen with this many aircrafts and so much of employees? They will try to rationalize the ratio and they will try to reduce it. Why? Because if you see, the successful low cost carriers across the globe, like Ryanair or any other, or take the case of Indian case, that Indigo. If you see in Indigo, the ratio is around 70 employees. And same thing, if you see in Ryanair, it's hardly 30 employees, because they have around 318 aircrafts and the employee is not much. It's around some 9,000 odd or 9,500 odd employees. So they keep that fine balance to make the airline profitable, which the new owners of the Air India will think, and they will act in that direction. So this will be a concern for the current employees, which government must ensure the welfare. There are sources, or there are news, or there are inputs that government is promising to ensure the benefits or ensure the well-being of the current employees through the, to retain the PF schemes or pension schemes wherever it is applicable. But that's a promise, and hope government keeps this promise to retain the benefits of the current employees. Talking about employees' benefits and the perspective of the bidders, when this process goes on, that will lead to a merger between the existing companies of the new bidders, like in the case of SpiceJet, the SpiceJet group, where SpiceJet and SpiceJet Express, they will have a merger with Air India facilities or Air India assets. And Air India has really, they have more than 4,000 slots available in domestic sector, more than 1,800 slots, internationally they have got all these assets. This all will be a part of SpiceJet or the Tata Group's ventures, where Vistara and AirAsia are there. So there will be a merger. This merger will come to play, and mergers are always painful. We have seen that in past. Mergers are always painful, and a lot happen when mergers happen between two companies. We have seen this exercise in all previous companies, and they lost the path. Mergers, after that they lost the path. Take the case of Jet Airways and Air Sahara. Take another example of Kingfisher and Air Deccan. Both these all four companies, they were active and major players of Indian aviation industry once upon a time. Now they are not in the market. So you might take a cue from this, or you might take my indications. Mergers are always painful for the employees, which the government, in this case, or the bidder, the management, they must think. It is really painful for the employees, for the company also, because company get lost in the asset distribution or the management, asset management, or rationalization of the fleets, handling of lessors, handling of many more things which come in the way. That can be like routes rights, or bringing all of them together under one umbrella. Rarely the mergers have been successful, and hope these practices, or the stories of Air Sahara, Jet Airways, or or Kingfisher, Air Deccan doesn't happen in these merger cases. And Tata Group, if successful, they handle it nicely. Or SpiceJet, if they become the successful bidder, they integrate it properly. Because definitely Ajay Singh, though he is bidding in with a personal capacity, he will definitely make a synergy attempt, or make a merger attempt with his current company SpiceJet. Whatever the outcome may be, here in as aviation observer, or as aviators, what should be our concern is aviation company sustains. This is one. The synergies or the merger or robust management happens so that the company flourish. The benefits and welfare of the Air India employees being retained, or they are reinstated. Now there is so much of chaos, if you see, in almost all companies of all the carriers in India, including Air India, where the pay cuts are huge, and allowances are cut, employee benefit I'm talking about. So these all things needs to be rationalized slowly as the pandemic recedes. Employees, again I say, and I have been quoting this thing, do whatever you want, whether it's a government company or it's a private company. You want to close the business because you are not able to run the company. Do not harm the employees' interest, because their life, their world, their concerns, and their misery is much more bigger than the deals you think of or deals you do. In the past, we have seen in the process of mergers or in the process of company closures, there have been chaos, there have been catastrophes, there have been suicidal attempts, there have been so much of problems to the employees. And I bat for the employees when it comes to the aviation flourishing, because employees flourish, then only your company will flourish. Keep the management part out of that. That is the company's headache. But here, the headache is not to be transferred to the employees in this particular case. The figures can be anything: 60,000 crores, 70,000 crores, or the debt sharing, debt paying, or whatever it is. But the employee takes a certain amount as a salary, and this is the employee's world. Their interests must be retained, or their interest must be taken care of. We hope the new bidders, whoever it is, will take care of these notes as well. Apart from the rationalization attempt they will do in the future to bring down the aircraft employee ratio, or any other changes, or anything that has to do with manpower cut or salary rearrangements or whatever it is, we can only request, or we can only we like to see that the interests are taken care of. So this was today's topic about Air India divestment or Air India sale. I tried to put some facts and figures. Those facts and figures might not be as accurate as I quoted here, but discussion's main motto was the smooth transaction of Air India should happen, and the bidders should get a full control of the airline, at the same time not undermining the interest of the current employees. This was the please come back. So at the end of our discussion, you saw this example. I was talking about the incense stick. When Air India was in its golden days, it was like the incense stick. It was burning nicely, everybody was getting benefited out of that, and everybody was happy about that. Air India had done evacuations of its citizens from foreign countries like no one has done it. You can take the case of the Kuwait evacuations, the record evacuations, or any time that happens. Not only evacuations from foreign lands, the pride of India being a national carrier, or to see the Air India logo in a foreign country or anywhere, you feel that I belong to this particular part. That's like incense, this packet. It was burning, and everybody had this good feeling like, okay, the domestic sector flyings, okay, How many, even before the Jet Airways came, or you can say the Modi Luft, or you can say Damania, East West, all those carriers. Before to that, it was only this Air India or Air India, Indian Airlines, which did a merger afterwards. So it was burning nicely. It was serving everybody. Now the residue part. This residue part, it's getting difficult to clear. The ashes of this incense stick or the burnt Air India, the debt-ridden Air India, is difficult to clear now. Nobody wants is able to make it clear. This was the example. So Air India is like an incense stick. So this was our topic today. Hope you all had some information of other which you didn't. If you did, it was a nice gesture. And thank you very much. Please write your comments or write suggestions there below, and come back again for another fresh video. Thank you. You take care.